On my wedding day, my twin brother beat me, woke me up, and locked me in the basement. Then he impersonated me to marry my fiancée. From today, she is mine. His eyes were filled with confidence and possession. He left so quickly that he didn't realize I had stopped breathing in the dark. When I died, the wedding was still going on. My fiancé, Bok Min Bang, held the hand of my good brother, Pho Dien Kiet, and solemnly swore that whether poor or rich, whether healthy or sick, we would be together forever, never leaving or giving up. It should have been my wedding. Yet now, I can only take the form of a ghost floating in the air, looking down at the ceremony. Watching my good brother impersonate me, marrying the woman I love. My eyes stopped on Bok Min Bang. She has a handsome appearance, tall figure, and long legs. It's just a pity that his temperament is too cold, making it difficult for outsiders to approach him. What I didn't expect was that someone as cold and indifferent as her could have her ears turn red when she said the 3 words "I agree." My good brother in a high-class tuxedo looked at her with excitement, his eyes shyly like the past years. The one who was in love with Bok Min Bang was not me, but Pho Dien Kiet. I stood at the edge of the stage, watching them bathed in flowers and the guys applauding, feeling hopeful about our future together. But I am writhing in endless darkness. Blood flows under the body, like a pure flower blooming and then withering. I thought my heart was strong enough to withstand all the pain in the world, but when I saw them kissing, my heart still ached. Surrounded by joy and laughter, they were the focus of all eyes, only I was the one left behind. I didn't want to look anymore, so I turned around and left. But after only taking a few steps, his body was pulled back by a strong force. Suddenly realized something unusual. According to common sense, after death, the soul must leave the body, or disappear into nothingness, or enter reincarnation. But I'm already dead, so why do I still exist in this form? I didn't believe it, so I continued to try to go out the door, but I tried dozens of times and still couldn't go any further. On the contrary, it causes me even more pain. Kick, then just follow fate. I definitely let go of my mind, found an empty corner to sit down and wait for the handsome ox to lead me away. However, without waiting for the ox to show off, my good brother pulled me into the makeup room. I looked at him and smiled, took off his tuxedo, changed into a red suit to drink wine. Afterwards, I returned to the wedding party with him, watching him thoughtfully hold Bok Min Bang's arm, table by table, congratulating. Only then did I realize that I was tied down by my good brother. When I was alive, he made a complete mess of my life. Even after death, there is still no end to it. I lowered my eyes, not knowing whether to cry or laugh. Bok Min Bang helped Pho Dien Kiet with most of the alcohol, but even so, Pho Dien Kiet still drank a lot. Pho Yin Chia's alcohol tolerance is not bad. He even dragged me to drink a few drinks. Standing in front of Bok Min Bang, I used the excuse of having a reaction to alcohol without drinking a drop. Pho Dien Kiet didn't know the tricks I used, so he was in a happy mood. He drank too much. As time went on, Bok Min Bang frowned even tighter, but Pho Dien Kiet did not notice. After the wedding ended, I was pulled into the wedding room by Pho Dien Kiet. He seemed like a good man, constantly caring for Bok Min Bang. It must be said that for a young master who has never had a hand in housework, pretending to be an ideal man, is not suitable at all. Bok Min Bang smelled of alcohol and tiredly walked into the bathroom. Pho Dien Kiet used the excuse of helping and followed in, thinking he could take a bath, but was chased out by Bok Min Bang. He was angry. Bok Min Bang worried about his hard work, happily hummed a song, and leisurely washed the flowers on the glass table. Tonight, all the servants in the villa have the day off. I sat on the sofa coldly watching Pho Dien Kiet busy doing all kinds of things, feeling extremely happy. When I was dating Bok Nin Bang, as soon as there was a chance, Pho Dien Kiet would ask about our love story. At first I honestly told him, but then he asked more and more details, and I started to feel uncomfortable. Sometimes, intentionally distracting him, I told him that Bok Nin Bang was cold on the outside and hot on the inside, but was extremely bold in matters between men and women. We crossed the line a long time ago. In fact, even though we've known each other for several years, we only stopped at kissing. Bok Nin Bang and I once had an agreement. When she is ready, she will proactively give herself to me. Before that, she would restrain her emotions, initially because the childhood ghost of not calling back became the cause of today. The more impatient Pho Dien Kiet became, he only pushed Bok Nin Bang further away. Bok Nin Bang hates being lied to the most. If I knew that Pho Dien Kiet considered me a fool to tease, I would smile slightly. Bok Nin Bang, wearing bathing clothes, walked out. Pho Dien Kiet threw half a plate of cut fruit and hurriedly ran into the bathroom. After bathing, maybe the blindness will soon swallow Bok Nin Bang whole. Rarely does Pho Dien Kiet not take a bath or use a bathing suit. I naturally feel like I'm at home. Fog covered the room. Over the years, Pho Dien Kiet has bad taste and excellent appearance, and his girlfriend has changed from one person to another. As for me, from beginning to end, there was only Bok Nin Bang alone. He laughed at me many times, being so conservative that he only had beauty but didn't know how to take advantage of it for maximum benefit. Who would have thought that someone like him who had experienced countless women would eventually turn to the noble and cold beauty that I kept? Where do you get such confidence? I thought for a long time, until I remembered the scene at the wedding. The name on the welcome sign. That's when I was startled to realize that 3 years ago, my name had been changed to Pho Dien Kiet. When Bok Nin Bang and I were together, I also used the name Pho Dien Kiet. He brought Pho Dien Kiet to the main light and took away Bok Nin Bang in a righteous way. As for me, this Kai Ba Dad is nothing more than a shadow living in the darkness. The rain mist turned into water drops, sliding down the corners of my eyes. Funny. Honestly, until I die I still don't understand who I am. I thought about my short and tragic life, from when I was Kai Ba Dat to becoming Pho Dien Kiet. When I was 1 year old, my father passed away in a traffic accident. My mother took my brother and all the compensation money and left for a strange land, leaving me and my grandmother to rely on each other to survive. Mom chose to bring her brother because his name meant a bright future, and I was just redundant. From childhood to adulthood, I never felt the love of my parents or the love of siblings. When others have fun in the circle, my parents' hands could only hold the only family photo and look for them in their dreams. But what's scarier than being taught is that since I was 14 years old, I've had to endure lustful looks from everywhere and dark hands from strange women. People sneaked into my room in the middle of the night and touched my body while I was still sleeping. A lowly fate that anyone can trample on, with a face that makes people want to take over. It's funny, if it weren't for my grandmother's gritted teeth and helped me ask for my uncle's place, perhaps my life would have been irreparably tainted early on. But my tuition fees soon weighed heavily on my grandmother, and with the dormitory fees, my grandmother could not get up. I risked my life to study, just hoping that my grandmother could enjoy some comfort while she was still alive. Then the university entrance exam came. I received an admission notice from a 985 university. People who had been absent for 17 years in my life, from nowhere, learned this news. They appeared when I no longer needed them. At this time I learned that my mother had remarried 16 years ago. Her new husband is a big boss. My brother also changed his name to Pho Dien Kiet a long time ago. They took great care of me and my grandmother, took her to a comprehensive health check, and even helped us register for a trip. The name is to make up for the family. I didn't want to go, but I couldn't stand my grandmother's longing eyes. Over the past years, she was confined to a small, poor village environment, never knowing the vast outside world. I'm still young. I still have many opportunities in the future. Grandma hesitated all night, and finally agreed. The trip opened my eyes. I also saw a satisfied smile on my grandmother's face that she had never had before. The resentment in my heart towards my mother and brother also gradually dissipated to a large extent. But when I returned and saw the results of my grandmother's health check, heaven and earth seemed to collapse before my eyes. Next to her news was a malignant tumor, the size of a child's fist. The surgery cost was $300,000 for me and my grandmother at that time, which was a sky-high number. My mother found me privately and told me her real purpose for coming back to find me. She hoped I would change my name to Pho Dien Kiet and share my life with my brother. In other words, my brother and I will attend this university together. The only difference is that the small things like becoming famous and creating a reputation will all be done by him. The hard work like going to school, taking exams, and getting certificates are all done by me. 7 years later, the diploma and degree will bear Pho Dien Kiet's name and belong to him. In return, during those 4 years, grandmother's treatment costs will be covered by mother. She also requested that if my brother needed me, I must appear immediately. If I don't need it, I can disappear. Most importantly, absolutely do not disturb their current life. As she said these words, she elegantly smiled gently, but it made my heart bleed. It turned out that they took my grandmother for a health checkup just to find a way to control me. The so-called sharing of life is nothing more than wanting me to kneel at their feet and use my blood to pave the way for my brother. Doubting the test results, I took my grandmother to another hospital for a recheck. But when I received the same diagnosis, I was in complete despair. My grandmother changed her name, becoming her brother's shadow. My mother kept her promise and paid all the hospital and surgery costs for her grandmother. We all got what we wanted. After Pho Dien Kiet finished bathing, the scent on his body was completely similar to mine. The fruit he picked up on the lapis lazuli table was neatly cut and arranged short. Even my favorite American grapes have been carefully peeled. There is no doubt that it was definitely made by Bok Ninh Bang, but I didn't have the chance to eat anymore. Bok Ninh Bang sat on the sofa, her long eyelashes gently drooping, hiding the complicated mood in her eyes. Pho Dien Kiet held a plate of fruit and walked to her side. She reached out and touched his forehead, softly asking if he was okay. Bok Ninh Bang replied softly. Bok Ninh Bang is an introvert and has never told anyone about her body pain. Before, I would patiently help her massage until she took my hand and gently placed a kiss on the back of my hand. But Pho Dien Kiet only knew that Bok Ninh Bang had migraines. He didn't know what I had done for Bok Ninh Bang, so he just calmly withdrew his hand, then asked for a piece of apple and brought it to Bok Ninh Bang's lips. "Wife, eat the fruit," he smiled charmingly. Bok Ninh Bang opened her eyes and calmly looked at him. "Why are you looking at me?" Pho Dien Kiet responded with confusion. Bok Ninh Bang gently shook his head. "Brush your teeth and then eat." Pho Dien Kiet sat down next to her and ate himself. After eating for a while, not knowing what to think, he nibbled a grape, half knelt on the sofa, and approached Bok Ninh Bang's lips. Almost touching lips. Bok Ninh Bang's eyebrows slightly furrowed and she opened her mouth. Pho Dien Kiet stepped back a bit. She was silent, unclear. Bok Ninh Bang did not move. Her eyes were as deep as black magic stone, bending down as if she was observing to see if the person in front of her was still the person she was familiar with. She didn't open her mouth. Fo Dien Kiet was humiliated, angrily threw the fruit plate on the table, and walked into the bedroom. Bok Ninh Bang sat alone on the sofa for a long time, then went into the bedroom. But as soon as he lay down on the bed, Fo Dien Kiet quickly approached. "Wife, spring is worth 1,000 gold." He was soft and had a deep meaning. "You're tired, go to bed early." After saying that, Bok Ninh Bang crawled into the blanket, closed his eyes, and saw Fo Dien Kiet's confused expression. I laughed. He used my identity to approach Bok Ninh Bang, but didn't know that Bok Ninh Bang liked it best when I called her Mr. Bang. Bok Ninh Bang doesn't care about lust, but as long as I softly call out on Bang in her ear, Bok Ninh Bang can give her everything. Unfortunately, he doesn't know. He always said that Bok Ninh Bang came from a noble background and was not someone like me who grew up surrounded by cigarette smoke and could enjoy himself. But he wanted to rely on his previous tricks to turn Bok Ninh Bang into a fait accompli. Looking at the current situation, there are still many obstacles waiting until he discovers that he cannot control Bok Ninh Bang. Will he repeat the old way, offering to share Bok Ninh Bang with me? But I'm already cold to the heart. When he sees my body, how will he react? I held the handle, thought for a bit, and found it extremely interesting. Anyway, for the position of Bok Ninh Bang's husband, he can only choose one. If you choose an innocent identity, you will have to reveal everything from the past, becoming a laughingstock in everyone's eyes. If I want to keep this title, I must completely erase my existence. But now it's a law-governed society, and for someone like him who's not as tight-fisted as him, wanting to kill someone is also a big project. Stopping the stairs wide, I lay down on Bok Ninh Bang's lap, smiled, and closed my eyes. From today onwards, I don't have to be like before. If Fo Dien Kiet calls you, you will come. If you are chased, you will go. Because I'm already dead. When Bok Ninh Bang woke up, Fo Dien Kiet was still sleeping. She sat by the bed, observing him for a long time, her eyes still as deep as ever. I couldn't see what was ghostly. The second day, there was no phone, no books, and had to stay next to Fo Dien Kiet. I also felt very bored, walking around the room countless times. The clock hands pointed to exactly 10 o'clock. Fo Dien Kiet had just woken up. He yawned, slowly washed his face and brushed his teeth. After that, he went through my wallet again and took out a change of clothes. Done, take the key, go through the tunnel and go out. It's just that he's so aggressive, clearly angry and wants to. Coming to find me, Sua's personality hovered in front of him, waiting for his reaction when he saw me. I was noticed when he pushed open the bunker door. The smile on his face instantly froze. Next was a shrill scream, but he was afraid of being discovered, so he quickly covered his mouth. I looked at him from above, seeing him carefully step by step towards me. I saw him trembling, reaching out to check my breathing. Seeing him angry, he shot back a few steps, his eyes widening in horror. Then he collapsed to the ground, stunned, not knowing what to do next. His panicked eyes kept staring at the long nail stuck in my chest. Seeing him again after more than 7 years, he was always tall and arrogant, sometimes angry. This is the first time I've seen him show such rich expressions. It's interesting. The air, in addition to the smell of blood, also had a bit of a foul smell. After waking up, I looked back at his expression and looked at myself. It was no longer bright. The part soaked in water has turned black. The whole person was stiff like a torn doll. He didn't show any mercy. The back of my head was so badly injured, I couldn't bear to look at me. Unable to look anymore, he turned around and floated out of the basement. "Mom, can you come to my hotel room? You seem to have caused a big problem." Mom came to know, I can't explain clearly over the phone, so come quickly. I'm so scared. Fo Dien Kiet was so scared that she called her mother using my phone. He looked like he was about to go crazy with fear, and was extremely disheveled. I sat cross-legged on one side, leisurely enjoying his pathetic appearance. After calming down, Fo Dien Kiet locked the door to the basement and went back upstairs. Perhaps because of the long wait, he turned on the TV. But because of my death, his mind was not on the screen. Occasionally looking towards the door, my whole body was lost. But I was very enamored. An hour later, the doorbell rang and Fo Dien Kiet rushed out the door at his fastest speed. When he arrived, before he could open the door, tears were falling. "Mom, am I still dead?" As soon as Death uttered the words, he suddenly choked. I looked out the door. The person standing in front of the door was Bok Ninh Bang. My eyes lit up with excitement. "Why did you come here?" Fo Dien Kiet was so scared that he rolled his eyes and bowed. I returned to the hotel and asked when to check out. "I just had something to do recently, so I stopped by to take a look." "What did you just say, Bok Ninh Bang?" Entering the room, stopping in front of Fo Dien Kiet. He walked up unconsciously, looking towards the basement. "What's in it?" Bok Ninh Bang strode towards the basement. "You said it was TV. It was the younger brother in the TV." Fo Dien Kiet was like a startled rabbit, hastily pulling Bok Ninh Bang back, so nervous that it scared even the TV. "Why are you so small?" Bok Ninh Bang glanced at the TV showing a monologue play, stopped my footsteps with regret and impatience. "Just take a few more steps, there will be a surprise. Stopping here is so boring. If I hadn't become a ghost, I would have wanted to push her down to the basement myself. Isn't it just that I'm playing the role too much? Seeing the male lead's younger brother die makes me feel a little sad." Fo Dien Kiet kept shouting, "Mom, I'm about to be scared to death. The TV at home is bigger than this screen. Why don't you watch it at home?" Bok Ninh Bang was both annoyed and amused, lightly pinching his nose. "We lost one of them, so I went to the hotel to try with luck, and checked out by the way." Fo Dien Kiet, his eyes blinked, not daring to look directly at Bok Ninh Bang. "Really?" Bok Ninh Bang glanced around. "Can you believe it?" Fo Dien Kiet's face was blank. "If he couldn't find it, that's it. I'll buy you a new guy later." Bok Ninh Bang looked at the clock. At that moment, the door rang again. "Mr. Kiet, open the door, it's Mom." Mother's voice was heard outside. Fo Dien Kiet stood still, and Bok Ninh Bang opened the door. "Who are you?" She frowned at my mother, suspiciously. Mother froze in place, unconsciously looking at Fo Dien Kiet. "This is my distant great-grandmother, and this is your wife." Bok Ninh Bang and Fo Dien Kiet calmly spoke first. Mom immediately understood Fo Dien Kiet's role at this time. "Hello, I'm Mr. Kiet's aunt." Mother proactively greeted. Bok Ninh Bang was very respectful. "Hello," I chuckled beside me. For a long time, Bok Ninh Bang's lover was Fo Dien Kiet. Mom wasn't invited to the wedding party yesterday, so she didn't recognize Bok Ninh Bang. Before, Fo Dien Kiet opened the door and called his mother. "Why is someone knocking on the door?" "Calling Mom?" Fo Dien Kiet suddenly appeared another mother. "Why is home RHRH like this? Isn't Bok Ninh Bang suspicious?" Strangely enough, I looked towards my mother during the drama of stealing my marriage. "What role does Mom play?" "Wife? Didn't you say you were busy? Let me take you?" Fo Dien Kiet pulled Bok Ninh Bang's hand. Bok Ninh Bang looked at his watch again and did not object. "It seems really busy. Miss, please sit and wait for me. I'll be right back." After walking a few steps, Fo Dien Kiet turned to instruct his mother and smiled. "Say goodbye to them." I was involuntarily pulled out of the room by Fo Dien Kiet. Following him to see off the guests, she had just returned with Fo Dien Kiet, so her mother quickly locked the door. Then she used one hand to tug on Fo Dien Kiet's arm, striding towards the basement. Mom and I knew, seeing the basement door sealed with iron, Fo Dien Kiet's face turned pale. "This big thing, do you think you can hide it?" "Mom, why are you so serious?" "Fo Dien Kiet, do you know what you're doing?" "All these years, whatever you like, I don't care. I want to live a glamorous life. Mom helps me. I see that studying is hard, taking exams for me, passing classes for me, taking exams for me. Mom also closes her eyes and lets it go. Even though your father gave you the company, you waste your money and have no desire, and continue to exhaust yourself, without mercy, and Mom doesn't say anything. But the thing you shouldn't do most of all is kill yourself for a woman." These words echoed like thunder. I listened and was dumbfounded. Over the years, my mother has always been Tien Vai's older brother, but she didn't expect that she still had room for me in her heart. It really surprised my whole family. "Mom, I didn't kill him, I just knocked him out. I didn't expect something unexpected to happen. I just wanted Bach. Nin Bang never thought about killing it. Moreover, she also needs its help with many things. How can I kill it?" Fo Dien Kiet fell to the ground, his face confused. Listening to his defense, I just found it ridiculous. For the past 3 years, he and his mother, in the name of taking care of his grandmother, have illegally detained her. They were strict and limited the time I could visit her. He clung to me to live, fed off of me, but still did not forget to suppress me mentally. I'm like a rat living in a sewer, humble and incapable of light. He misunderstood me over and over again. I tried to explain, but in return I was only met with cruel punishments. Unexpectedly, people like him sometimes have to bow their heads and beg for forgiveness. I didn't mean it, I didn't want to kill him, Fo Dien Kiet sobbed. "Don't cry anymore," Mom said in a low voice. "The important thing now is to call the police." "Can't call the police." Hearing this sentence, Fo Dien Kiet immediately changed his expression and decisively interrupted his mother. "Shut up, Mom." Mom got bored and said angrily, "Do you want to drag everyone here?" Fo Dien Kiet's whole body trembled and he lowered his head. "Why can't you report to the police?" Mother's face became darker and darker. Fo Dien Kiet bowed his head even lower. "Although my brother and I have the same name Fo Dien Kiet, our backgrounds are very different. Bach Nin Bang only knows Fo Dien Kiet without father or mother. It's not him at all. Reporting to the police will definitely alarm Bach Nin Bang. If she knew the truth, he couldn't continue to be with her anymore." Mom was angry and slapped Fo Dien Kiet hard in the face. "Are you that lacking in women?" "I'm not lacking, but Bach Nin Bang is different." Fo Dien Kiet completely ignored the pain on her face, took 2 steps forward, and held her hand. "Do you know who Bach Nin Bang is?" "She is the eldest lady of the Bach Tea group, the one who often appears on the Bach Tea Cockbitch news." "That damn name. We had so much news, we didn't expect to be deceived." "Do you know what Bach Tea's market value is?" Without waiting for his mother to speak, Fo Dien Kiet angrily replied, "At least 80 billion, which can be exchanged for thousands of dad's companies." "Actually?" Mom was extremely surprised. "Is her family that rich? Why do you pay attention to Kai Ba Dat?" "Who knows, maybe it's just bad eyesight." Fo Dien Kiet was cursing at others, but I was unconsciously lost. To me, Bok Min Bang is a snowflower on the top of the mountain, something I desire but cannot reach. Being with her is the most beautiful dream I've ever had. Don't tell me, mother, even to death I don't understand why she married me. What matters is not the reason but the result. Anyway, I am now Bok T's son-in-law. With this title, education or ability are no longer important. Doesn't Bok Min Bang like you because of this face? As long as you try to get her pregnant with your child, Bok T will sooner or later be in our hands. Fo Dien Kiet skillfully persuaded and painted a bright future for her mother. The plan was so perfect that even a dead person like me felt moved. Mother was also shaken. You mean conceal Kai Ba Dat's death? She asked. Fo Dien Kiet nodded strongly. There are no surveillance cameras in the room. As long as we handle the body in silence, his eyes are full of calculation. Mom considered the pros and cons, then dressed up and left. When she turned around, in her hand was a giant V. Together they stuffed my stubborn body and put my body in the baseball bat that knocked me unconscious inside. Then wear disposable gloves and quietly and diligently clean up the scene. Checking out of the hotel, they drove dozens of kilometers together and carried me up the mountain, finally throwing me off a cliff. The mountain road was steep. I was okay, but both of them were seriously injured. Looking down into the abyss, I couldn't help but use myself. Luckily, I died early. Wouldn't it be even more tragic if someone died from a gun? Thinking that makes me feel even more numb. It's impermanent. I at least tried for him for 3 years, but looking back now, it was just a completely meaningless tool. My mother gave birth to me but did not take care of me, and in the end even threw me away like trash. There is an ancient saying, birds die for food, people die for wealth. I don't know how much of the Bok family's billion-dollar fortune they can enjoy. After solving the big problem that was me, Fo Dien Kiet trudged home with each difficult step. At this time, his clothes were wrinkled, his knees were scraped, his shirt was covered in dust and thick bloodstains were smeared with mud. He ignored it. The servant's eyes went straight upstairs to the bedroom. There was thick broken glass thrown around. I just wanted to go to the bathroom to wash away the evidence. Why are you injured? From the direction of the balcony, Bok Min Bang's voice suddenly rang out. Fo Dien Kiet, startled and scared. I'm home. He looked towards Bok Min Bang, avoiding the question. Why am I so pathetic? Bok Min Bang walked in front of him, squatted down and raised his hand to lift his pants to check the wound. Fo Dien Kiet panicked and backed away from her hand. Bok Min Bang sat still in the same place. It was just that he was chased by a mad dog and accidentally slipped and fell. Fo Dien Kiet made up an excuse. Bok Min Bang frowned but didn't say anything more. I'll go take a shower first. Fo Dien Kiet appeared calm and walked into the bathroom. As soon as he locked the door, he frantically pulled his hair, looking completely devastated. Bok Min Bang was busy with work. It was normal to be away from home overnight, so Fo Dien Kiet refused his mother's invitation and decided to go back to his house to take a shower. But the real reason was to find my things and see if there was any expensive gift from Bok Min Bang. Then threw away my clothes and suitcase, erasing every trace of my existence. Besides my mother, no one knows that Fo Dien Kiet and I shared our lives together. Now that I'm dead, he can't wait to erase me. What little he had was completely inadequate to handle this. He didn't know that the more he hurried, the more likely it was that he would reveal a loophole. Just one step and falling into the abyss forever. Fo Dien Kiet tried to endure the pain when the water touched the wound, regaining his composure when the sound of the hairdryer rang out. The bathroom door was knocked. Is something wrong? He opened the door. Seeing Bok Nin Bang standing outside, his face full of restlessness, Bok Nin Bang did not say anything. She walked into the bathroom and naturally picked up the hairdryer to help him dry his hair. The space is silent, the memories are also silent. The makeup mirror is blurry, no one is looking, it's due to someone's eyes. Fo Dien Kiet sat down on the bed. Bok Nin Bang brought the medical box and knelt down in front of him. Then, she took out the ointment, gently disinfected his wound, applied powder, and wrapped it in gauze. Fo Dien Kiet looked intently at Bok Nin Bang, his eyes full of joy. A small injury in exchange for her gentleness, he found completely worthy. Wife, I feel so sorry for Hong. Fo Dien Kiet encroached more and more. Now that you know it hurts, why weren't you more careful before? Bok Nin Bang glared at him. After you go back to Sa, stay away from the cat, don't get hurt again. Bok Nin Bang stood up, bent down and gently kissed her forehead. She's confused. Fo Dien Kiet finally got her sugar. He happily nodded as he turned back. After putting away the medical box, Bok Nin Bang carried a black card. Before, you didn't want to spend my money. I didn't force you. Now we're husband and wife, don't refuse me anymore. Her voice was gentle, her eyes full of affection and determination. I understand, thank you wife. Fo Dien Kiet did not hesitate except to accept the card as token. About Grandma's exam, Bok Nin Bang is filled with joy. Don't worry, now she eats well, sleeps well, and is happier than other evil people. Fo Dien Kiet did not bother to raise his head, but Bok Nin Bang's face immediately darkened. I rolled around on the bed with joy. Poor Fo Dien Kiet ended up turning over the tiger and burying himself. Over the years, he and his mother bribed the nurse, thinking that everything was under control. But I didn't know that the new nurse was attracted to me. Now, they still don't know that their grandmother passed away, but Bok Nin Bang and I know. Dear wife, do you have any more instructions? Fo Dien Kiet tilted his head and acted spoiled. The more I heard, the angrier I became. A man who also acts like a spoiled brat. It's nothing, Bok Nin Bang smiled, patting his head, but there was no smile in his eyes. After Fo Dien Kiet fell asleep, Bok Nin Bang picked up his phone and texted. I curiously craned my neck to peek. She sent information to investigate the master's whereabouts today in as much detail as possible. The other party responded very quickly. Okay, he stopped for a moment, and finally decided to investigate the young master's past. Looking at this, my gloomy mood suddenly became more cheerful. Very good, finally there is about to change. Fate has opened a path to gently caress Fo Dien Kiet, but he doesn't realize it at all. He took the black card that Bok Nin Bang gave him and started living a life of heaven and earth. Crazy, boring, tasteless, just the ultimate fun. Oh, I never wavered. Most of the time, I see myself as a kite for Fo Dien Kiet to lead. When you're bored, put it on his back and rest, no more pretending with him. Later, Bok Nin Bang was even lazy to go home, but she would still answer Fo Dien Kiet's phone call and answer it nonchalantly. But the tone was very gentle, making Fo Dien Kiet fascinated to the point of death. If she treated me like that, I would be heartbroken. But fortunately, the person she treated like that was not me. I can't meet Bok Nin Bang, I miss her even more. When I was alive, the relationship between me and her was extremely fleeting, but now it's completely gone. The vines of nostalgia grow in my heart, little by little, it erodes my remaining will. When I met Bok Nin Bang again, she was holding a file of documents, sitting on the reception chair under the castle. Her face was beautiful but indifferent, like the gray sky before a storm. On the tea table in front of her, there was also a wooden box more than 1 meter long. Fo Dien Kiet just came back from going out, in a very good mood. When he saw Bok Nin Bang, he immediately smiled like a marigold. Voluntarily took the big bag and small bag from her hand and placed it on the table near the wall. "Wife, you're home. I'll ask you to die." He rushed into Bok Nin Bang's arms, but before he could touch him, he was stopped by a rolled-up document, and they all went out. Bok Nin Bang moved her lips slightly, giving the servant a cold look. The servants glanced at each other, then bowed and left for the front yard. Fo Dien Kiet maintained his posture, leaning forward, secretly happy, thinking that Bok Nin Bang wanted to do intimate things with him, so he chased everyone out. Knowing that her little treasure had lost her soul 7 years ago, becoming a senseless lie, turning over all the documents about me, Fo Dien Kiet completely lost her soul. He sat down on the ground, breathless, his hands unconsciously tearing the paper. Suddenly, as if possessed, he held his head and frantically ran out. To the right of the large door, 2 people wearing dark blue uniforms with sparkling badges walked out. They blocked the door, blocking Fo Dien Kiet's escape route. He was frozen in place, standing as still as a log. "Is this hill very interesting?" Bok Nin Bang spoke. Her voice was calm, but deep inside was a storm building. Fo Dien Kiet trembled uncontrollably. She said nothing. The sun sank below the horizon, darkness slowly covered her. There were no windows, darkness swallowed everything, no one turned on the lights. Bok Nin Bang completely blends into the darkness, like an animal in ambush. It was obviously very dangerous, but I couldn't help but want to get closer. I drifted towards her, knelt on the sofa, quietly fondling her head and chest. "Undeniably, you look a lot like him, almost identical." To be honest, I didn't want to doubt the person next to me. But he revealed too many loopholes. At 25 years old, with white hair, tormented by illness, and taking medicine every day, do you call that happiness? My Badat cries every night, just hoping he can bear the pain instead. What about you? Bok Nin Bang laughed briefly, with the same face. Why is there such a big difference? The funniest thing is that the guy impersonating him didn't know his grandmother had passed away. Hearing this, Fo Dien Kiet widened his eyes and was surprised. Bok Nin Bang bent down and picked up the sealed bag on the floor. Fo Dien Kiet was born stupid. It's not your fault, but you shouldn't play tricks on me. It's my fault for not recognizing you from the beginning. Since you destroyed what I cherish most, use your life to pay the price. Fo Dien Kiet seemed to wake up from a dream. I didn't kill Kai Badat. I just knocked him unconscious. I didn't expect an incident to happen. His death has nothing to do with me. Bok Nin Bang, can you forgive me? I really didn't kill him. Fo Dien Kiet frantically defended himself, but Bok Nin Bang did not bother to listen. Give him to you. He looked up at the 2 law enforcement officers at the door. Moved his wrist a bit and then headed straight towards Fo Dien Kiet. No! I'm not going. I don't want to die. Fo Dien Kiet seemed crazy and rushed towards Bok Nin Bang, but the police quickly held him tight. A pair of handcuffs locked his wrists. Bok Nin Bang, he's dead. Why can't you see me as him? I don't mind being his shadow. Please keep me. I don't want to die. Even though he became a prisoner, Fo Dien Kiet still did not forget his plan to replace me. Are you happy? Bok Nin Bang slowly walked in front of Fo Dien Kiet. She raised her hand and squeezed her chin. Just because of this face, I took your life. But he paid the debt you owed him. Her eyes were like lightning. The night sky contained endless murderous intent, a god of death from hell. Fo Dien Kiet was frightened by that look, his prayers choked in his throat. Bok Nin Bang waved his hand without saying any unnecessary words. The police roughly dragged Fo Dian Kiet away, and the documents on the floor were also taken away. The space is quiet again. Bok Nin Bang slowly closed her eyes, and the formerly proud demon girl seemed to bow her head. Indescribable emotions arose in my heart. I was stunned and had difficulty turning around. In sight, there was no longer a trace of Fo Dian Kiet. I realized that the cold had lost its effect. Bok Nin Bang walked upstairs in the dark. When passing through the long hallway, she used her feet to kick the things Fo Dian Kiet bought today. "Come here," her voice echoed through the darkness. A dark eagle walked in. Based on his figure, it was Butler Qian, Bok Nin Bang's driver. I remember his last name was Truong. He didn't turn on the light. She bowed her head, waiting for a cold voice to call, "Miss, throw it away." Bok Nin Bang spoke in a calm tone, without any wavering. Butler Truong looked around the room, then accurately picked up the pile of things and threw them away. The room became quiet again. Bok Nin Bang slowly walked up the stairs. When passing the second floor, his eyes moved slightly and drifted into the bedroom. As expected, in the room there was no trace of Fo Dian Kiet's existence. The clothes and suitcases he had thrown away, on the contrary, reappeared. Bok Nin Bang was in the study room on the third floor. Perhaps because she was afraid of being blinded, she didn't turn on the ceiling light, only turned on the table lamp. There are a few photo frames on the table. All of them are photos of me and Bok Nin Bang together. Half of my life I lived like Fo Dian Kiet's shadow, never standing upright in the sun and taking pictures with Bok Nin Bang. Besides my husband, there are only these photos. On the table there is a folder with a few photos on it. Bok Nin Bang looked under the table lamp. First of all, they are all my photos, with different photo sizes and different shooting angles. There are photos from surveillance cameras, there are photos taken secretly, and there are also a lot of ID photos. But there aren't many photos of him standing seriously in front of the camera. In the first half of my life I did not have the conditions to take photos, and in the second half of my life I did not have the qualifications to take photos. But this photo leaves me almost unimpressed. Fo Dian Kiet and I are exactly alike. In order to not be caught unaware, for the past 7 years I have imitated his every move. Even Mother often confuses us. But the strange thing is that among these, there is not a single photo of Fo Dian Kiet. After looking at the photo on the table, Bok Nin Bang put her hand on the drawer handle, but did not open it. I saw her fingers tremble slightly, as if there was something scary inside. The last drawer was pulled out, and inside was a stack of photos. With just a glimpse, I didn't dare to look any further. These are also my photos, the photos after I died, trampled on again by Fo Dian Kiet and my mother. In fear, I stared at my face. I couldn't help but feel nauseous, but unfortunately my stomach was empty and I couldn't vomit anything. But Bok Nin Bang was not disgusted at all. She moved her long, slender hand, gently brushing my necrotic eyes. A tear dropped on my photo. Unable to believe it, he raised his head. The corners of Bok Nin Bang's eyes were watery, tears were still on his face. Having met her for more than 3 years, this is the first time I've seen her cry. I haven't seen her for many days. She's exhausted. Under her eyelids are blue-gray dark spots, like the proud sun being encroached by dark clouds. The darkness spreads endlessly. Bok Nin Bang sat under a lonely lamp. My heart felt like it was cut by a knife through thousands of painful feelings, offering greetings. In the days after my death, I only thought about when my brother would take revenge. But I never thought that Bok Nin Bang knew how painful my death would be. I only remember hatred but forget eyes. In this world, besides hatred there is also love. The next day, Bok Min Bang came to the police station to take back my body. Although the situation is worrying, at least it is intact. Before cremation, Bok Min Bang invited the best makeup artist to retouch my appearance. Then, organize a solemn funeral for me. She recorded my life in pages, although short, but enough to declare to the world my clear existence. I am very satisfied with this treatment. All my life I've been alone. It's okay to die, but in the end I'm remembered this way. Very good, judge me accordingly. Did Bok Min Bang come to court to kill someone or intentionally kill someone? Just one word difference, but the sentence is very different. Pho Dien Kiat harmed me, with real evidence combined with previous crimes, exploited and enslaved me, and was sentenced to life in prison. My mother committed the crime of concealing and destroying evidence. The charges were cumulative, and was sentenced to 20 years in prison. I knew there was Bok Min Bang's intervention, but I didn't understand its true meaning until I saw the documents in her study. Lai wrote about the prison life of Pho Dien Kiat and my mother. There are also photos of their inmates, very friendly, caring day in and day out, without dead ends, constantly eating and sleeping whether it rains or shines, still constantly taking care of them. They couldn't bear it, so they went on a hunger strike, but the prison guards used the best resources to save their lives. Destroying half of my life, finally having to endure the suffering I once endured. From now on, yin and yang are separated, which is good. The day I was buried, it was a beautiful sunny day. The sky was blue, clear, without a single cloud. Bok Min Bang wore a black dress, hugged a bouquet of chrysanthemums, and did not say goodbye to me one last time. I saw my tombstone, with the name Kai Ba Dat engraved on it. On the right is the name of Bok Min Bang. Having missed the village for half my life, I finally completely let go of the 3 words Pho Dien Kiat. I'm very satisfied. Can you call me Ba Dat? Bok Min Bang half knelt in front of the screen, but her long, white fingers slid across my name. Hearing Ba Dat's name, I felt emotional. I remember the first time I met her, she said I only had my grandmother as my only relative in this world. After liking me, she also wanted to become my relative. I'm a quiet person and have never liked anyone. I'm afraid she won't like it, afraid she'll let me go. Fortunately, over the years, she has always been by my side. I'm not good at expressing my feelings, but I know that I love her and want to be with her until the end of time. After my grandmother passed away, I decided to use marriage to keep her with me. I want her to know that she is also my relative. Grandma is no more, she is still with me. Does she know how nervous I was the moment I proposed to her? I'm afraid she will refuse, afraid she doesn't need me. The moment she said yes, it was the happiest moment of my life. I want to spend my whole life with her. But unexpectedly, something like that happened to me. Ba Dat, I couldn't protect you, it was my fault, sorry, Bok Min Bang kept muttering in front of me. I've never seen her talk so much. In my impression, Bok Min Bang is always ugly and reserved. She likes to be alone and hides her feelings. Behind her cold face, it was as if her heart was also wrapped in a shell, but at this moment, she opened her heart and showed all her softness and fragility. Ba Dat, even though I know it's a distant wish, I still want to ask you a question. If there is an afterlife, will you still hold my hand? Her voice was light and gentle, her whole body was like a fragile wind, her color fading away. The earth was all empty, no one answered her. Her eyes gradually became hidden, my heart trembled slightly, as if something was about to emerge. This feeling became more and more intense, as if it wanted to destroy my heart. I was stunned, bowed my head, but the lower half of my body had turned into fragile smoke, dissolving into heaven and earth. It turns out, I'm about to disappear. Why do I regretfully look at Bok Nin Bang? Above her head is a tombstone. Her hand placed on the tombstone, falling empty, my heart ached. The next moment, I was swallowed by despair and darkness. When I opened my eyes again, I was reincarnated. Reborn into a happy family. Both parents are healthy, grandfather is kind, and grandparents are carefree. I am an only child, multi-talented and loved since childhood. After knowing my university entrance exam score, I smiled and wrote the name of a school on the application form. I remember, there was a beautiful girl there. She used to carry through a sea of people just to be with me. After enrolling, I met her again in front of the school gate. She carried a cold look, quietly walking through a sea of bright autumn flowers and a crowded stream of people. I intentionally fell in front of her. She was about to pass me, but when she saw my face, she didn't stop. I wasn't being rude, her eyes rested on her shoulder, she smiled, and extended her hand towards me. Her fingers were long and white, but they blocked my heart. Every hesitation has a solid answer. At that moment, I held her hand tightly. From then on, one handshake is a lifetime. Full text completed.